What is going on, you guys? My name is Dylan. I'm a third year medical student currently studying at the University of Notre Dame in Sydney. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 things I wish I knew before I started medical school. I remember when I first started, I had no idea what to expect. I was just super excited to be in medicine. And I think I can share just a couple of tips and tricks just to help you calm down and relax over those first few weeks. Just have a little bit of a better understanding of what to expect. And also just some things for your mental health to feel good about yourself before you start. So it's a beautiful day outside today. I'm not going to stay in this apartment any longer. Let's get outside. Let's take a walk around Centennial Park. Definitely just a few things that I wish I would have known. And we're going to start with number 1, which is imposter syndrome is normal. Imposter syndrome is when you arrive somewhere and you don't feel like you belong. And I definitely got a sense of this in my first semester during medical school. Obviously, when you get there, there's lots of very, very intelligent people, and people have got all different sorts of backgrounds. So when you first start medicine, not everyone is starting from the same position. That's really important to remember. Some people have had entire careers before they've started medicine. Others have done a course that might align better with the medical curriculum. So things that I found that puts people at a bit of an advantage are things like doing a physio degree. I really felt like whenever the weeks came up about musculoskeletal or any anatomy, those people are miles ahead of everyone. They've done it all before. So don't feel bad if you feel like you're a little bit behind or you feel like you're not getting things as quick as other people. This is going to happen throughout medicine. There are so many different things to learn, and everyone has got different backgrounds, different job experiences. So imposter syndrome is normal. My biggest tip for dealing with imposter syndrome, feeling like you don't belong in medicine, is just to remember how much effort you've put in to get there and the fact that you've made it through a pretty grueling application process. So just have confidence in that you are meant to be there and that there's always help available. You can use those people that have experience in other areas to actually help you learn things. They're going to be your best friends. They're going to be some of your best resources when you're actually studying. Just remember that you also have skills, experiences, things that other people have never done before, and you'll be able to bring those strengths in the discussions that you have. So don't feel left out. You're going to be fine. And that is one way to deal with imposter syndrome. So that is number 1. Number 2 on the things I wish I knew before I started medical school is to remember that med school is like drinking from a fire hydrant. And this has been reiterated by lots of lecturers that I've had over the last couple of years. And it's essentially to say that there is so much information out there and you're going to be given so much all at once. And it's hard not to become overwhelmed. So just remember that when you're studying, there is a limited amount that you're going to be able to learn. There are a limited amount of resources that you're going to be able to tap into. And there is just infinite resources nowadays. There are past papers, there are student notes, there are all sorts of textbooks, there's stuff on YouTube, infinite amount. And it's impossible for any one person to get through it all, let alone to try to even get through 10%. So in terms of choosing and selecting resources to use, I think it definitely depends on what type of learning style you have. I'm a very visual learner. If I get a new topic, I tend to go and look on YouTube, look at an osmosis video just to get a very rough, brief description of the topic, and that really helps me. And then I might read over a textbook, or I'll go into what's called BMJ, and they have summaries of all different types of diseases and pathologies. You can read those summaries. They're about 10 pages long. That's just what I like to do. Other people love textbooks. Other people love just looking at the lecture slides. So many ways to do it. So for undergraduate, you might remember that you might have had a couple of lectures each week and maybe a tutorial. Medicine is a little bit different. It's just one course. You might have 10 lectures throughout the week. Sometimes you might have 5, but you'll also have PBL groups, problem-based learning groups, where you have a couple of hours each week of discussing a clinical case. And you try to solve that clinical case over the week. In addition, you're going to have labs, so anatomy labs, physiology labs. So there's so much coming at you, and also you need to keep up with your assignments and assessments, presentations. So there really is a lot to get through. Some tips for just being smart with the amount of information that's coming at you. Number 1 is to be smart with your time. And that's really hard to do, obviously, because everyone's trying to be smart with their time. But I would just say that being smart with your time means allocating a certain amount of time to complete tasks and not getting stuck in rabbit holes. So if you're given a topic to study for the next day, let's say you've been given the topic of rheumatoid arthritis and you want to understand that a little bit more for the next day, there are two options. You can spend 5 hours researching, going deeper and deeper, trying to understand everything you can find on rheumatoid arthritis, but you also have other things that you need to be keeping up with. Your lectures, your assessment pieces. You also have to be studying for your exams because you have mid-year exams and final year exams. So maybe spend an hour doing that and get the most for your buck. So number 3 in the things I wish I knew before I started medical school would be that everybody studies differently. And this kind of seems like a bit of a duh moment, but when you start medical school, you've got a bunch of smart people sitting around you and you think, wow, these people are amazing. They must all know the best way to study. And the problem is that their best way to study might not be the best way for you to study. You really need to work out how you learn, how you best retain information, how you best memorize information, because there's going to be so much to learn. And if you're just adopting one person's study strategy, it's probably not going to end up too well. If you've seen Ali Abdaal's video about spaced repetition and active recall, those are good evidence-based ways to study, and you can definitely go look at his videos. I'm sure you might have already seen them if you're watching my little video. But yes, definitely everyone learns differently, and you need to find out what works best for you, and that's going to take time, it's going to take practice. Definitely take little bits from different people's study strategies and what things you like, but you need to develop your own. Just an additional thing on that one, and it's something that I struggled with, is don't get bogged down in trying to work out the very best study strategy, because you have so much to learn. And I was a victim of this definitely in my first year. I spent a lot of time researching how to study effectively, but at the end of the day, you do need to just get stuck in there and do it. There's only so much planning you can do, but if you're undergoing something called paralysis through overanalysis, which is essentially where you spend so much time studying how to study that you never actually get to the actual study bit, then you're wasting your time, and also you're doing yourself a disservice. So get stuck into it. You'll learn along the way and you'll pick up things as you go. There's no perfect way to do things. That's pretty much all I've got for number 3. We're gonna move on. We're gonna keep walking around this big, beautiful lake that it has. So let's go. So we're up to number 4 in the things I wish I knew before I started medical school. This one is a little bit of a hard one. I remember when I started medical school, I was super excited. And don't get me wrong, I love the fact that I'm in medical school. But I think an important thing to remember is that you're not gonna love it all. And I know this isn't very motivating, but it's just to reiterate the fact that medicine is a long journey. It's definitely a slog, and there are lots of things that in medicine that you may not enjoy, that you may not like, certain topics that aren't gonna interest you. And just remember that this is also a very normal thing, and that it's okay. It's okay to not be passionate about every aspect of medicine. This is why people go into specialties, not just because they're passionate about one area, but also, guys, you're avoiding the things you don't like. So don't feel bad if you're not super engaged or super passionate about every part of medicine. It's definitely good to be positive. It's definitely to keep your mood up and to keep studying and find it all interesting. That's definitely going to help you just with your endurance in terms of studying. It's also going to help you because you should, if you're going to study medicine, you probably should enjoy it, but don't feel bad if you're not enjoying every aspect. And those rose-colored glasses for me did come off a little bit, but I definitely love the fact that I'm studying medicine. There are so many aspects that I enjoy day to day. Just be mindful that just like any other job, any other profession, there are going to be elements that you're not going to love. But that's just a quick one. Let's move on to number 5. If you are struggling with your studies in medical school, definitely reach out. There are so many support systems in medical school now. They understand that medical students are stressed, that medical students have other things on their plate, and that sometimes medical school can become a lot and can become quite overwhelming. So if you are struggling at any point, reach out to those support systems. It's going to be more beneficial in the long run. You're going to be less stressed. And ultimately, this is a very long journey. Look after yourself, and then you're going to be better at being able to look after other people. And that is the best cliche I've ever heard. All right, guys, so number 5 in the things I wish I knew before I started medicine is about balance. And this is something that I think when I first started, I remember I went into medical school, or just before I got into medicine, I would look at medical students and I just thought they had everything together. I was like, wow, they must get, an hour of gym, 8 hours of sleep, study 4 or 5 hours, eat nutritious. eat the perfect diet. They've got all their friends. They're just absolutely smashing life. And I think the important thing to remember is that once you actually get into medical school, you realize that all of those things, all those worries, those concerns, all those insecurities maybe, all of those things, they follow you straight into medical school and it doesn't stop. So at the end of the day, life happens. Things happen in your life that you can't control. Family stuff happens, maybe you have to move house, all sorts of stuff. This is going to continue to happen throughout your life. This is something that I've kind of come to appreciate more, and that means being a little bit more lenient on yourself. So when it comes to balance, people always think that you need to strike the balance and that every day needs to be the same, that you should be able to get the perfect amount of sleep, the perfect amount of study. But in reality, I think balance is relative, and balance is also, it ebbs and flows. So during exams, most people would say that there is no balance. I'm doing a lot more studying, I'm going to the gym a little bit less, I'm working a lot less, which means my financial situation goes down. And then when I'm on holidays, my financial situation goes up. I have time to record videos like this and completely chill, have no stresses in the world. During the semester, be kind to yourself. Know that if you didn't get to the gym today because you had to get an assignment done and study, that's okay. You don't have to be having everything, all the ducks lined in a row all the time. And that you are going to have times where you're going to need to prioritize, maybe study over a bit of exercise, or you're going to end up eating something that's maybe not that healthy for you. All of these things, it's all in moderation. And as long as you're not staying up until 4 a.m. every morning trying to study, and you're getting there at 7 in the morning, you have to also think what's going to be sustainable over the next 40, 50, 60 years of your career once you finish medical school. That's my one little bit of advice on balance, and something I wish I knew. A question for you guys is, what are you most nervous about studying medicine, or what are you most nervous about in trying to pursue a medical career? Put that down in the comments, or even send me through a message on my Instagram and I will reply to you, and I might even put in another video if I get enough responses. I've just thought of something else while I'm walking. Do not give up your hobbies and all those things that you love and enjoy about life because you've started medical school and you think there's a lot of work to do. You have to remember that medical school is probably going to be the time where you have the most free time. I mean, you don't have any patients, definitely in the initial stages of the first few years, that are relying on you. Don't get completely consumed by medicine. There's enough hours in the day for you still to go in and do whatever you enjoy, whether it's rock climbing, singing, whatever clubs and stuff you do now that you really enjoy. You need to keep those, because that's going to keep that human element alive so you don't become a medicine robot. My favorite part of this walk, which is the lake. I've never actually walked down to this lake before, so I'm just going to check it out, because I normally do this walk at night time. It's not even autumn yet. Check that out. There's just these big, beautiful trees all around Centennial Park. I want to see the bin pigeons of Sydney. I never realized it was that small. It's kind of sad. I realized that that is not the lake that I was just at just then. This is the lake. In 3, 2, 1. That's going to conclude the video. I'm finally at this beautiful lake at Centennial Park. Just wanted to say, for anyone that is starting medical school this year, congratulations and good luck. I'm sure you're gonna have an amazing time. Please let me know in the comments if you are starting medical school. If any of you are in the process of trying to get into medical school, keep it up. I hope these videos are motivating you. And if you have any requests for videos, please send me a message via Instagram. You can DM me. You can also just put a comment down in the comment section. If you've enjoyed this video, if you've got any value out of it, can you please hit the like button and also subscribe? I will continue to make a bunch more videos about med school life and my journey through medicine, and I will see you in the next one.